We are nearing the end of the year, and some people are feeling tired, slowing down and longing for a bit of rest. Others are pushing hard and aiming to finish strong. We are all having different experiences and coping with different circumstances. As the end of the year is a good time for reflection upon your life, start thinking now about where you are at, what you have been doing, and where you want to go and grow from here. When we contemplate about life, I want to encourage you to remember to focus on God first and foremost, and then on your relationships with your loved ones, your spouse, your kids, your family, friends, and then your visions and goals. A while back, I tackled a little project at home that has many analogies to relationships, and I just need to share it with you today. Well, this little project that wasn't so little after all was cleaning up our paving. Now, when we built our home 6 years ago, it was fresh and new, and the paving looked wonderful and clean and perfect. Just like our relationships, when we have a new relationship, maybe you just got married and it's fresh and new and clean and so beautiful. But with a home and also with relationships, there's cleanup, there's maintenance that needs to be done to keep it in order. Now, everything went fine with the paving for 5 years. But then this winter, it was wet as anything. It has never been so wet in all the years that we've been living here in Pearly Beach. And it seemed as if the paving just couldn't dry out. It stayed wet all the time. Previous winters, little moss would form. Then summer comes, the sun is hot, and it dries away. No problem. But after this winter, when I looked again, it was like I blinked, and the next moment, all of the paving had moss in between, and the sludgy sediment on top was starting to grow on some of it. And I just knew I need to do something fast. And I just started just looking at it to scratch away at the moss with a little stick. And I went on from paver to paver, and it looked quite different. It made a difference, even though it was a little small portion. But even that little small portion had an impact on me. It hurt me. I had a blister on my finger that broke, and it was really sore. So when I stopped and I went up and I looked down at the paving from the deck above, I could see how much better the cleaned portion of the paving looked. So that encouraged me to keep at it and to use a little bit of a better tool than a little twig that every now and then broke. And I continued. And I also realized, you know what? You can't keep on doing this. It's not productive. It's taking a long time, and there's still a lot of paving left to be done. So I realized most definitely that I needed help from outside. And a friend was so gracious to lend me his pressure sprayer, which I used. It worked much faster. I still did it myself, and it was messy and tiring and everything that goes with it. But I got the job done, and now it's looking nice and clean and maintained again. But let's get back to relationships, because this is what this talk is actually about. You know, often when you start looking at your relationship, start realizing that something is wrong. Maybe sometimes there were things not right and you've left it too long. Or sometimes things just happened, circumstances, situations, and you got overwhelmed from all sides. And suddenly you realize your relationship is in a mess. And maybe you start doing little things, trying something, but the more you try, the more you get hurt. Because it's often the way it goes is that it seems that things get worse before they get better. But do not shrink back. Keep at it. Keep at it. Keep trying to get to the bottom of a problem. Keep trying to discuss things with the other person. And sometimes you need to come to a point where you realize, I need some help. I need some help from outside. We are not coping with the situation as it is. And then it is good to find a trustworthy person, a pastor, a counselor with whom you can talk and can help you to just step back a little, look from the outside in, and get some strategy to tackle your situation. And your first go-to is the Lord, to talk to Him in prayer and to ask for wisdom and insight. But He also works through people. He wants us as people to stand together and to lift each other's arms and make each other strong, to encourage each other in a situation. And yes, be careful. You cannot just trust anybody to talk to about your personal circumstances. Go to a trustworthy professional person that can help you. But be encouraged today. Don't sit down and think this is just the end. Do everything that you are able to do to save your relationships, to make it better. Because so often we get tied up in everything we need to do. We need to work and we go there and do this and do that. But true joy in life comes from relationships. God has intended it that way. His relationship with us and our relationship with each other. That is what counts in life. Yes, there are other things that it is important. We need to work and we need to get an income and also put our energy into our goals and our vision. But the most important is, first of all, your relationship with the Lord, then with your loved ones, and then with the other things. Then that can get your attention. So yes, so often our attention is divided because work and circumstances and situations are there all the time and they don't just disappear. But we need to make time for what is important, and we need to get help and not just struggle on your own. And just remember, the joy of the Lord is your strength. When you think there is nothing else that brings you happiness, that brings you joy, find your joy in the Lord, and that will strengthen you and give you the courage to go on and to tackle every circumstance and situation that comes across your path so that you can go on to victory